Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Howard Jean-Denis. Hope everyone is doing well. And so what I would like to do today, and I'm going to share my screen now, is I'm going to show you guys a very popular term in the business world. I'm going to talk about how to develop it. So it's called a business model. I'm sure if you're in business circles, you've heard it before. It's different than the business plan. It's different than just profitability or some other things that's been talked about a lot. And so let's get right into it. So just talking a little bit about the background of the speaker. So I have a PhD in strategy and entrepreneurship from a major research university. I'm a researcher. I've also worked for many years as a professor. I'm a U.S. military veteran. I've worked for different corporations that have been very successful, increasing their bottom line, expanding around the world. And now I teach business strategy at a major university as well. So combining with my experience as a veteran, as a researcher, entrepreneur, a corporate insider, junior executive, I'm going to talk about these topics now. So what is a business model? Here's a definition. It's basically, and very simply, an organization's key strategy for creating a profit. How are they doing? What is the action that they're undertaking? So when they're conducting the business, they have to design it in a way that they're going to be making more in their pricing, in their sales, in their income than they're actually expensing, right? So that's the profit. So some examples, and here's some basic models. There's a little bit more that are not included here, but these are some popular ones. Are a retailer. So think of a Walmart, where Walmart is essentially getting the product to customers. That could be one business model. Another could be a subscription model. So if we're talking about a service, access to education, and we're going to use Netflix as an example in a moment. Netflix is a very popular subscription model. They lost some ground. So in other words, some other companies like Disney Plus and Amazon have caught up to them, but they've been the market leader in online streaming for a while. Bundling includes bringing different products together, maybe even a service, and charging all of them at once, possibly for a discount, which creates some value to the customer. Manufacturer involves creating the product. So think of an auto manufacturer, for example. Tesla manufactures the vehicle and sells it directly to the customer, in contrast to a Ford or a Toyota, which may use a dealership. But your organization actually creating the product, a sneaker, a phone, whatever the case may be. Freemium model, which is also a very popular one, where you offer the service for free, and then you charge after a certain point, after 2 weeks and 30 days. You forget about the subscription, the membership, and then all of a sudden you get the bill on your bank statement. So that's some different types of models. There's more than those. And now we're going to talk about the different components of a model. Like, what is a model, right? So we know it's how you can create profit, but what are the components? So let's before we look at Netflix, let's just define each part of what a business model is. So the first part that everybody thinks about is, what are you actually doing? What are you creating? What service are you offering? Is it a hotel? Is it delivery? What are you producing? Is it a sneaker? Is it a tablet? Is it consulting services, that type of thing? So how are you doing it? When are you doing it? Why are you doing it? That's the activity. Well, the why comes a little bit differently. It comes in the value proposition. So activity is what is it, right? How's and when. Resources, there's some spillover there. Resources are what are you actually utilizing to offer it, to produce it. So is it the raw materials? It could be the manpower, the women power. It could be the factory, the equipment. There may be some R&D, or there may be some intellectual property involved with that. Cost structure is how much will it cost? How much are you incurring, whether it's delivery, it's R&D, it's the labor that's involved with it. It might be a patent. You want to document that very well, account for that well, which is going to come in the next two components, the value proposition and revenue. So you also want to start to think about, why are you producing it? So in the eyes of the customer and stakeholders in society, why is it valuable? Are you reducing some pain? Are you creating some convenience? Are you making things more valuable, different than what the status quo is? And so hopefully the answer to those questions are yes, yes, yes. And as you're doing that, you're offering some type of value that will entice customers to buy from you and not from someone else, your competitive advantage. So how will you be compensated? So you can have one revenue stream. You want to have at least one, obviously, but you can also have multiple revenue streams. So it could be in fees, it could be sales, it could be some type of affiliate marketing, whatever the case may be. So revenue streams, where are they? Who will you align yourself with and why? So who will your partners be? Big organizations, small organizations, word of mouth. It could be a celebrity endorser. There's a lot of different ways you can align yourself for mutually beneficial interests. And finally, channels and customer segments, they're relatively similar, but they are distinct. So your customers, you want to know who they are, right? You want to think about the demographic, the psychographic, the geographic, the income level of these people, these individuals, these families, these organizations, if you're business to business. And so who are they? What do they want? And so that'll help you when you create visibility in their eyes and the need in their eyes. Finally, the channels are, how are you reaching them? So you may have a very straightforward way. It could be through your network in the beginning, but you could begin to do that through obviously through social media, through direct mail, through some type of referral service. There's different channels that you can utilize. So finally, let's look at this this quick example. So this is a business model canvas. It's a very popular entrepreneurship framework. And then we're looking at, so these are the exact same categories we were talking about just now. So let's talk about Netflix. It's a very popular organization. They haven't always been doing as well as they're doing now. And obviously there's companies like Disney Plus and Amazon that have caught up with them, Hulu, etc. So streaming is not it's not a monopoly, it's not an oligopoly, it's essentially it's relatively competitive now. And so, but what are their key activities? So they're producing content, whether it's original content, which they've been popular for, Netflix originals, or they're licensing. They're getting the material from a Disney, from another organization. So they're doing a lot of analysis and seeing what customers actually want, and they're getting the content out there, right? So through their website. So the key resources are their customer base, the customers telling them what do they actually are interested in. They have the algorithm, which will tell customers, okay, you've watched this movie, you may want to watch this other movie or this other TV show. So they have their portfolio of their new content, and they also have their brand loyalty, and the licensed content. So the key partners, they've aligned themselves with cable companies, with producers of content. They've purchased studios, they have broadcasters, and there's a raw materials, the actual components of their service that they've been aligning themselves with, so the partners can help them to deliver an outstanding product. So let's talk about cost structure and revenue streams. So Netflix has multiple revenue streams. Their main one is a subscription model, but they also gain revenue from product placements. Looking over on the bottom left, we have their production. So it's not free to produce this content, right? So they have the studios, they have the research and development teams, their celebrities that they're aligning themselves with, their directors, producers, they have the general administration expenses. And in the upper right, you see these concepts of the business model that are not talked about as much, but they're also very important. So value proposition, as I mentioned earlier, what are you doing to create value in the eyes of the customer? So for Netflix, one of the reasons why they outpaced Blockbuster was very popular a couple of decades ago, was because Blockbuster was popular for going there and getting the movie, having this great experience with your family, picking up the VHS or the DVD, whereas streaming was a trend that Netflix caught, and Netflix in that process was able to license certain content. All you can binge watch, as it mentions there, a variety of content. So their content from other production studios, and you can stream it. And you can also, all you can watch it on DVDs. That's not something that they do as much, but that's something that they were also doing in the past. So it was all about access to a relevant audience. So if you see the Squid Games, you see the Money Heist, the Bridgertons, very, very popular shows, the Cobra Kai's, the Lupin, the popular French show, they've been able to categorize, and that's where we get to the right side, the customer segments, customer relationships. There are people who love Netflix for their shows. So they like to watch Netflix for hours and hours. And so Netflix app is very popular for that, because it's a very sticky service where customers will watch for a long period of time on any device. It's on demand. And there's a global audience. It's not just in the United States. So that gives you an idea of what a business model could look like. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Please subscribe. We'll have lots of new engaging content in the future. And thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.